This morning. Hey, Mike.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm well. I'm just been riveted to the conversation about manhood and cleavage. And
Yes.
they both have. What do they both have in common? They're both distractions.
That's
I use
correct.
that word to describe them. I got canceled.
Right.
You guys are getting a free lunch here.
It's true, Mike.
Well, Jim Montgomery not happy with the way that one ended last night, Mike.
Well, they looked like they were going to pull out a game that they really didn't deserve. I thought Carolina was the better team, but they do what they've done so very often. They hang in there, Marchand, a couple of great goals. And then when you're a defenseman, when you're anybody on the ice, you have to understand the time of the game, the circumstances of the game, the score of the game. And when I saw Hampus Lindholm rush forward, even though the defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes had full control of the puck, I said, uh-oh. I mean, there's no way on God's green earth this guy should have pinched on that particular play. He wasn't close to pressuring the defenseman. An easy outlet pass. And then his partner, Carlo, came all the way across the ice to the left side of the ice where he's, as a right defenseman, should not be doing, should have been able to read the play. And Pasternak, he took the shot, but he was high in the zone. Should have seen Lindholm pinching in. Don't put a lot of responsibility on him, but he was slow to read it and get back. And then they were looking for the goaltender to do what they've done so often over the past year and a half and make a big save, and this time he couldn't do it.
Mike, when you look at and we kind of been talking about this, and I've been, on this for as far back as I can remember about the two goalies and the two goalie situations. When you start to look at this team and you start to see that it looks like the team is starting to lean more towards Swayman as being the number one goalie. Isn't this a perfect opportunity to maybe use the asset that you have in Omok to see if you can bolster your roster with a forward or a defenseman rather than having a guy really just kind of rotating a little bit in the sense of just being a backup?
I do want to answer that question, but before I get there, kind of put this in perspective. Mm-hmm. This team is fifth in the league in goals for, fifth in goals against, fourth in power play and penalty kill, although penalty kill let them down last night. And they're doing it with a roster that includes 30% free agents from the trash bin of hockey free agents. I mean, Boquist, Van Riemsdyk, Geekie, Heinen, Shattenkirk, and Wotherspoon. Those guys are playing regularly for this team, and they find themselves, had they won that game last night, would have been in first place overall. So where does that leave management? I mean, you look around the league and say, who scares you? They've beaten everybody that they've played. They haven't played Vancouver yet. They beat Winnipeg fairly handily. They've beaten Colorado. Who scares you? The only teams that scare you right now are the teams that are quicker than Boston. And that includes Edmonton, who's now won, I think, 14 in a row, which is remarkable. And Carolina has that quickness, probably Colorado. But you have to try to figure out, do we really have a legitimate chance here? I mean, how can you not say no to that? I mean, when you're in that position and you've beaten all the other significant opponents. So to answer the question, as I have before, I think you need to explore it for sure. And I wonder what the mindset is of Don Sweeney, having picked up what everybody considered to be blue chip deals at the end of the season last year in Lindholm and Orlov and Bertuzzi. Is he stung by that?
Yeah.
Or is he going to be able to have the courage of his convictions? And does he really believe this team is ready to make a serious run? And you couldn't fault him if he said yes.
Well, Shine brought that up earlier. He made the moves and did it last year because he believed that team had the chance to win the cup, and you said stung. He got stung by it. So is he willing to do that again?
I think it all depends on his assessment of his team, and with his team is second overall in the league, first in the conference, and with a goaltending situation that is an envy of everybody in the league. But they could use a little bit more firepower. They've picked it up a little bit lately, but they could use another offensive weapon. I don't know that they need to look for a defenseman. Who's been really good is that Wotherspoon. What what a nice little pickup in a story for depth for this team. But I think they definitely need to shop around. Everybody does. It's your responsibility as a general manager. I don't know what his mindset is, but I couldn't blame him for going in either direction.
So, Mike, you talk about his evaluation of the team, and like to me, it looks like they're overachieving compared to what we thought leading into the season. Now, you having been in that position before, how much would you be spending right now? How aggressive would you be if you were Don Sweeney?
Well, when it comes to Ullmark, I mean, a guy that's put some pretty good stuff on his resume, I'm not going to be overly aggressive. I'm going to shop it, but I'm going to make sure that I have something pretty special coming back. As far as giving up first-round picks and second-round picks, I don't think I'm going to go down that road. They've done that for a lot of years, and eventually, even with a good scouting staff, it sort of makes the cupboard go bare.
Mike, Montgomery also blamed game management for the issue last night. At what point does he need to look in the mirror, though, and think that he is to blame for that poor game management?
Well, what do you mean by game management? I mean, is that personnel use or is it decision making? I mean,
I think it was more decision making last night, and the fact that they started off so slow and it took till the third period to get it going.
Well, it does concern me that they consistently have blown leads late now. I guess we did talk about that, and I thought it was maybe an aberration. But when you see a decision like Lindholm made last night and like Carlo made last night, it starts to scare you a little bit, and seems to me that a little bit more discipline might be in order. But given the record, you can't say too much about it. And game management has always been a significant portion, but late in the game, management becomes critical.
Mike, you talked about the players, like kind of the bargain bin players, and we always do that with New England. Why are they shopping there? So, and I would ask Sweeney this question, and I would say, well, if you have an asset that's going to bring you back elite level talent, don't get caught kind of in this area of like this false sense of security because the players that are performing well, are kind of lower level players. Would you look at in that sense of maybe that could be something that they could get caught with their pants down because they feel comfortable with the guys that they got and rather not going out and getting an elite level player?
Yeah, that speaks to Scheim's, comment about them overachieving. I mean, nobody would disagree with that they've overachieved, but they've so overachieved to start to make you. I guess I asked the question: can you believe that they do it? Can you actually start to give yourself the hope that the Bruins could be in a Stanley Cup final or even win it? And if you can say yes to that question, you certainly have to be more aggressive going forward. But is this just a group that comes together one time in the regular season and gets it done? I don't have my crystal ball with me, but all I know is when you get this close to it, it's not very often, and you got to take advantage of it.
How does that work, Mike? That's an interesting point. As you as a former coach, how do you know when your team is playing good enough like they're playing that this is a real contender or not a real, you know what I mean? Like not a real contender, because you bring that up and it's kind of interesting to see, like, I would think that they are a contender based on the way that they're playing.
I think you look at their stick-to-itiveness. I mean, they went on the road and they won like one game out of 5 and came back with like a 500 record, right? Mm-hmm. They find a way to get points. Then they went on a streak. And then they keep coming back at you. And that kind of resilience gives you, I think, a positive feeling about where the team can go. And if you feel that way about it, then, you feel like they can go deep. I mean, it's as you know, Wiggy, it's a rare thing to get the brass ring, but it's still rare to be in a position to get it. And I don't think you can let that kind of thinking fly by if you believe that you're ready to make a run.
Question for you, Mike, on the Subaru of New England text line.
I think Wiggy should wear snow pants, not sweatpants. What are you thinking, Wiggy?
Well, I don't. I've never been on the slopes.
He's never skied. This is it. This is his first time ever.
Bring your insurance card.
I'm going down the kitty slope. Magic carpet.
After Drew Doughty's comments yesterday, would the Bruins be willing to spend that high to bring somebody like him in? He ripped his teammates basically. Said everybody they're all padding their stats and not trying to win or playing the way they should play.
I don't think he's going anywhere, and Los Angeles has become a team to contend with, and I don't know how they address it internally, but he's a little bit of an icon in the Los Angeles hockey community, such as it is, and I don't think every once in a while it's not bad for somebody to step out. Did he overstep his bounds? Maybe, but I don't think he's going anywhere. If he were, I certainly would be interested.
All right, Mike Milbury, as always, great to talk to you, and we will do it again next week.
Good luck, Wiggy.
Thank you.